Is your doctor still prescribing you the Seroquel?
No, why? Do you think I've gone crazy with mania? The worst part of having a custom plate is when you're committing crimes on the road. It's just much easier for witnesses to remember who you were. So I'm like, if you're a real bad boy, you have an innocuous Captiva with generic government plates. Those are the real bikies of the street. Those are the bad boys.
Yeah, I like that you're trying to sell having a Holden Captiva as a high tea move.
Dude,
you're
you're
a
in
high
disguise.
tea guy when you're with your Captiva.
The baddest boy on the road is in camouflage because he's drink driving every 6 hours. Hitting shit, dragging bins home.
Yeah.
He's not wearing fucking Harley Davidson bike with coffin smuts or whatever it is.
The coolest guy is a guy on Ozempic who's lost his voice, and he's driving a Captiva around, and he loves IKEA hot dogs. That's the coolest kind of dude.
Oh, dude, you know, I heard Bunnings does food now. They do milkshakes. So I'm like,
is that what you're transitioning to? You're just going to get slightly lower quality hot dogs.
yeah. But then they do hot dogs and milkshakes. So it's like, well, someone's courting me. Someone's courting me.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to change my local to Bunnings. They got the cafe inside as well, so it's just I only need to stop off once. I can get the coffee and the hot dog. It's pretty good,
dude. It's like when when someone has a makeover, a haircut, and then they're really excited to meet up with you. Like that's going to change what's happened. Like they think they've upgraded.
Yeah, this is what other people are. This is what hot women are saying about you. They're like, man, I hear Wolfie's he's eating Bunnings hot dogs now. He's moved away.
Oh,
he's
dude.
a cool guy.
No, but when you're a guy or a girl, and then you know that fat guy that's been friend zoned, and then he loses a lot of weight, and he rings up his high school friend, and she goes, yeah, you look great, but your personality sucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like you. I never liked you. Like, you're a smaller size dustbin. You're a waste bin now.
There are actually so many more problems we need to address.
I'm like, hey, oh my God, so your mind allowed you to escape thinking the only reason I wasn't with you was because of your weight. I'm like, you arrogant schmuck. Your girls aren't with you for a myriad of reasons. But you know what I mean? Bunnings. But how good's having a wedding in Bunnings? That'd be great. If I ever get married, I'm going to do it in Bunnings. The most confusing wedding of all time. Near that back area with the outdoor gardens.
Yeah, where they have the timber and the giant PVC pipes.
We do all it near the industrial equipment for the getting down to business with the vows, and then we go into the garden centre to celebrate and relax.
Receptions in the Bunnings Garden Centre.
And we go, guys, time to retreat to the luxury and tranquil environment of the garden centre. We'll have a mister on for 30 minutes because of the fire safety in here. And then there's coffees, hot dogs, and thick shakes till your heart's content. Let's get the drill bit firing and let's dance.
That's the thing with a lot of businesses is they do not have the policies in place to stop you from having a spontaneous wedding ceremony.
Oh, dude.
Like the Pokies room of any ALH venue is a good one.
Imagine a Bunnings and the confetti, it's a wood chipper. You steal paper from one of the other areas and just push it into a wood chipper. You could use so much stuff there to get married.
Absolutely.
If it's a short man, you're like, ha, we'll go get your stepladder from fucking aisle 3, you midget. Do you know what I mean? And you know how she could get lowered down by one of the forklifts, the pickers. You lower down on one of those brown boxes.
Dude, what do you mean lowered down? Lowered down?
Well, you know how they put all the stock up at night with
but what are we lowering down?
Well, that's how the bride arrives. There's a driver with a hard hat that lowers it down.
So the bride,
as the
in
wood
the
chipper,
timber section, that you have the bride staged just up on a cherry picker.
and the wood chipper's firing Jarrah chips into the air, Jarrah sawdust. As I drill, I use one of those arc welders through a log of wood to make like spark. Da, 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 da. And it's playing like, something, I don't know, probably all fired up. All fired up. As she comes down, this fat pig of a woman that thinks she's managed to paint her face away with lipstick.
I don't think any Bunnings manager is equipped or prepared to move an entire wedding party along from the timber section. They're just gonna let it happen.
They're not capable of crowd control, because I had it last night with the festival venue, because they had the artist room, and I just staunched them, and I realised I went up to the guy. And he said, "Oh, sorry, man, you don't have your artist pass." And I said, "No, we'll be coming in. Hey, that's fine." And then he was like, and he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "No, look, man, I don't need this. It's sorted. You just need the up." You know, I said, we're coming through. Cheers. And then just walked in. Unbelievable. I got in. I just basically, it's like when I was a kid, when I was like 18, I remember going into a hotel lobby because I needed the phone. And I just went at reception, just started using it. And when she came over, I did the hush with my thing and said, "I'm on the call." And she just walked off.
That would be a move, man. In the Bunnings, getting on that store phone and making an announcement like, just dear customers, we have our ceremony starting in the timber section in a second.
Dude.
Please make your way to the timber section for the marriage of Andrew and Tina.
Dude, imagine if you get and you go, "Look, we have no friends, so you have to be the witness." Other people shopping in there.
You have to be the witness.
You have to be the witness. And dude, it's like, I've watched this guy online, Johnny Hamcheck, and he basically just walks up to people and starts randomly chatting to them and then won't leave them alone. And just like a door-to-door salesman. Him like, "Yeah, I'm Jeff with the tools." And they're like, "I don't know Jeff." And you're like, from Lumberjack, sorry, man. And then he'll ask about their dog. And then you can tell that they just because they're non-playables, they're too frightened to exit. And they just stand there, and he just keeps going on. He goes, "I got a Rhodesian Ridgeback that I fight." And this is effectively what we're doing. You just arrive at Bunnings, set it up and say, "Nah, shh. We've organised it with upper management. This is above." You know what I keep saying to everyone? This is above your pay grade.
Well, I was going to say, man, I think that's the main thing. Like, you're demanding that there's some bar back is like, "You have to let me through here." Like, they're not being paid enough to argue. They don't care. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care. But what I'm saying to you is, if you go in Bunnings, even the owner is just one franchise owner. If you go in there and they go, "Dude, we didn't authorise the wedding," and I'm going, "Mate, hush. This is above your pay grade. This is upper echelon stuff, and it's been part of head office. So, look, I'll get them on the phone once we've got this shit organised. We don't have time to fuck around with the logistics on site with you, okay? Just rest assured, it's in your best interest to be compliant, or your job is on the line."
Yeah, lady, be compliant. I have to get married in this Bunnings immediately.
Dude, you pretend that you're the owner, so you just go like, "It's in your best interest to be compliant. I'll say this. You talk to me again and tell me to leave Bunnings, jobs will be lost today, people. Get the fucking clipboard up and get the aisle ready. Aisle 3 is going to be the wedding aisle now. We're changing it. The wedding aisle." Is this not a good scenario?
Yeah, it's really good. You're already contemplating it as your new local location for all meals. It's the reason you shouldn't be having future family events there as well.
Do you know what I'm going to do? The groomsmen arrive in a bin, and all the bridesmaids arrive in bins. And when I take my wife home, I put her not in a bin, in trolleys. Yeah,
I was going to say, you know, that because there's not Bunnings don't have a lot of bins just showing up.
I misworded it. They all arrive in trolleys, and then once we've done the vows and the wife has officially approved the marriage, I'll pop in her trolley and push her home to the car. Do you know what I mean? Is that romantic? Pushing her and then load her up into the trailer, and home we go.
That's one gendered thing I would do, I think. I feel like you could get a lot done if, as a woman, just running around looking flustered in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
Like, if you turned up to a Bunnings in a wedding dress and you were running, I think you could do whatever you want.
Dude, imagine arriving flustered at an airport thinking you're going to jump the line, and we're like, "Well, no, that doesn't work." You're dressed in a wedding dress trying to jump the line, and you're like, "It's a 9-hour flight to Dubai."
No, that does work, dude. That 100% works. I've been doing this thing the past year. I show up at the last minute and they will do anything to accommodate you.
Oh, and what do you just say?
The last time I went to Christchurch, I got there real fucking late. Like they kept the check-in counter open for me, and as soon as I got to security, some dude was like, "Man, where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm on that flight." And he was like, "Oh shit, like you need to come with me.
We've got to get there."
I didn't have to go through security, man. He walked me to the gate. It was wild.
You got the only people that get that treatment are either like royals or famous or prisoners. You got the 5-star treatment.
No, dude. No. You just be late. All you need to do is be late.
Dude, you know what? Your idea of if you're a girl just wearing a wedding dress everywhere is so incredible. It's the best day of your life forever because
man.
everyone's interested in the girl in the wedding dress. No one's ignoring you on the bus. You get the seat. Everyone says, "I'm so brave going to your wedding on a bus." What the fuck? So what, Subway fueling up for the sex tonight or whatever the fuck some hack would say to them.
I think whether you were going into a JB Hi-Fi and picking up, like you pick up some headphones and you're like, I am in a rush. They'll let you just walk out with them, man.
Oh, dude.
Whatever you're doing, whether it's a Bunnings, you're getting food, whatever, people are accommodating you. They want to help out the lady on her wedding day.
Oh, dude. You could wear it every day at work and people are going like, dude, that's not suitable. And you go, dress for the job you want. I want to be a stay-at-home mum. I hate working in engineering. I'm going to wear a wedding dress until one of you lads fuck me, get me pregnant, and I get the fuck out of here.
That's the kind of unstable behavior in any sort of like low-paid position. Your manager is not... You show up for work at Coles in a wedding dress.
Dude.
Your manager is going to be terrified to say anything.
Dude.
Whoa.
You know what the best is? Once you've hired, because there's so many unfair dismissal things, if any company says, look, it's free dress or we're dropping the dress code, technically in their violation bylaws, that means you can wear a wedding dress. Because a lot of them have codes, right? HR has standards and regulations that then they fall back and it's like legal stature.
Dude, what's more formal than a wedding dress?
Dude, you can't be better. And imagine you've got a job and you go, well, look, you said I should take the job more seriously, so I'm wearing a fucking wedding dress. How fucking formal and serious is that, dude? It's not even comfortable in these heels. I've got a fucking train following me around to the toilets and the photocopier. I'm taking this job more seriously than that bitch that stole my fucking race.
I think there are a few things that are socially equivalent to showing up somewhere with a gun.
Yeah.
And like a wedding dress is one of those things. It makes people incredibly uncomfortable. You seem kind of unhinged, deranged. They don't want to approach you. They don't want to get involved. It can't be a daily thing. You can't show up to your fucking HR position in a wedding dress every day. But that first day, I guarantee you no one is pulling you aside to have a word.
No one, and the thing is, like, in the general public, they wouldn't piece it together. But I was trying to work out what the guy equivalent is, and I've realised you dress as the Grim Reaper. That's the ultimate power.
No.
People think death's coming. That's the male equivalent. So you're just at Coles and there's a guy, you're just dressed as the Grim Reaper. Would you get the same?
I think the answer is a guy. It's a very different vibe, but also a wedding dress.
Oh, dude. I've actually worked out. You just dress as a police officer and you can get everything. You dress, you get a gun, you steal a uniform, and then you just cruise around and you go, I guess I'm going to get the parking at the beach and I draw my shotgun. You just draw a gun and put the lights on and go, move. Do you know, imagine getting to work and you just put the sirens on and then just start shooting your gun out the window and people go, holy fuck, there was a high-speed chase. The guy was shooting the gun out the window. I've never seen a cop do that. He reckons he's shooting at helicopters that weren't existing. They were just in his mind.
Male or female, you show up to work in a wedding dress. That first day, no one's pulling you aside to say anything.
Yeah.
Maybe you show up the next day, not in the wedding dress, and I think it's still just so uncomfortable to broach the subject. It won't be raised.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way it's being raised. Hey, Andrew, just last week on Thursday, you came in a wedding dress, and I just wanted to know what that was about.
Oh, dude, and then you say, look, I take this job very seriously, so I didn't want to miss a day at work, so we just did it in my smoke break. We actually got married in my smoke break so that I could get the files ready for you, Jeff, because I know how important it is moving data around on this fake screen or whatever the fuck we do here. Drilling holes in every part of the world. What did anyone do, man? It's all an illusion. Accounting is just a weird fashioning of numbers, of records that don't mean anything. Yeah. How many fish were caught back 10,000 years ago? Who gives a fuck?
It's pretty funny taking the spam call and then trying to get them to send you blood diamonds. Like, come on, man, you can do better. Find. You have to find a crueler mind. These prices are too high. Come on.
Ah, dude. You know what'd be the greatest is like if you improve their scam. What you really need to do is they've got to ring better scam artists and be sort of educated. Do you know what I mean? When they ring, imagine if you rang and by the end you're going like, oh shit, yeah, fucking blood diamonds is what we need to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have my Tanzanian phone scammer running a high frequency trading algorithm on the Tanzanian stock exchange.
We have some ambition. I'm going to get you a boat and some fucking military grade rifles, and we're going to take down fucking the next shipment from, you know what I mean? Like Strike Energy. I've got the boat manifesto. Stop wasting your time trying to get $12 from pensioners.
Dude, I think it's the reverse, man. I think it's absolutely the reverse. You need to get one of those like Herbalife fucking multi-level marketing guys. You need to set up with the scammer from Tanzania a call center where salespeople call into them and get training on how to really sell. Like if what you're selling is poverty in Tanzania and you're able to eke out a living, you are one of the all-time goats.
Oh, mate, yes.
All-time sales goats, man. You need to be on the phones. You need to be in the boiler room, dude. Selling stocks should be a fucking cinch when you've been romance scamming 60-year-olds for the past decade.
Dude, you know, actually I was thinking, and we've mentioned it before, and it's pretty act premises. The call centre should be pensioners because that's the only way you're going to get people to hang up. This fucking Snoop getting in too much, too many questions. Do you know they're over 80? Put them on fucking headsets, and when you're trying to get your warranty claim, you're going to get through a 9-hour call with Norma asking about your stepson. Hey, did you ever find out who put the camera in the kitchen?
That's it, man.
Like, I just want my fucking toaster refund, you fucking idiot.
You have a Tanzanian scam artist outbound center, and you have a pensioner senior discount card inbound call center.
Oh,
you want to get an RMA on those fucking headphones and one that just crapped out?
Because they've got Russian brides. I'm like, why hasn't someone monetized? There's Nigerian boys looking to get into Australia, and then their pensioner woman, like Marcel's, who just can't stand their son and, want to ring anyone. We should be connecting them up and marrying them online, and then they come out. They get banged with a monster dick, and they live a happily ever after. Don't you think?
You're very accurately describing a romance scam. That's the whole premise. You find some sad fuck.
No, but dude, I would just love to start pairing them up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing with when you see them on a fucking investigative journalism show talking about how they were scammed out of their life savings.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I don't know how bad I should feel for you because you did lose 40 grand to some Tanzanian romance scammer, but also if you think about it, you spent 40 grand on a connection with someone who for years, stringing you along, leading you on.
Someone gave you a fantasy novel. It's like that Michael Douglas, the game. You got a full immersive experience where a massive dick guy from Somalia was in love with you. I'm like, that's worth 100 grand. The amount of fucking effort he's got to put in. Do you know how vile it was when he saw you in lingerie, like fucking Marge Simpson's sister with a smoker's breath? Talking on fucking Skype, going, yeah, I want you to suck my pussy. Do you know what I mean? How violated that boy felt? I'm like, that's fucking 50 grand.
Just to hear that Botswanan voice say, "Hello, my beautiful angel. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. I've been thinking about you all week." I'm going more Jamaican now.
Amos actually had a great bit, but I actually shouldn't spoil it because it's in a show on this, but I'm like, of flipping it. Like how it's perceived for the female versus how it's perceived for the male pretty much sums up the biased.
In what way?
Well, there's a sense of pity for the lady. Oh, she's been ripped off. But if it's an old grandpa that's banging a Thai girl, he's like, you fucking sick cunt.
Well, I don't think you would feel bad or as bad if the old woman was getting fucking dicked down.
Oh, dude.
That's the problem.
Dude,
with
imagine.
I have complete respect for you if you're a romance scammer who follows through.
Oh, that's what I think. It's not a scam if you actually willing to copulate. If you drill that fucking grey scab of a puss, like you have honoured the contract. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like Vodafone. If you're promising on Skype that you're going to bury her with a big black dick and then you actually come through with the deal, as far as I'm concerned, the contract is met and executed and it's a valid exchange.
Absolutely.
And like your mum, your aging mum just paid $100,000 to get banged by a 10-foot cock, okay?
To get that big dick Botswanan guy just motorboating those hairy tits, going to town on that fucking thick shag rug chest.
Dude, he comes up with carpet burn over his whole face. You know what's funny though? It's like they just want to price it like a fucking cheap dildo. This is a human being. It's a real life dick.
Yeah, man.
And they come at you want someone to engage with you permanently. $100,000, like that's a normal salary. $100,000 a year. You've not ripped off the amount. Do you know how much he had to endure listening to your garbage conversation?
Absolutely. Plus, like the couple of decades before that of just living in Tanzania.
Oh, dude! Imagine they sue him. They sue him, and it ends up they work out that she owes him more money.
He
countersues.
I was actually underpaid,
dude. And he goes into the International Court of Arbitration and actually say, "Look, we're sorry to break it. You actually owe him $47,000 further money because it's turned out that he's had to watch you masturbate 3 times." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we judge the award rate on how thick and how long.
And they're like, it's what we call emptying emptying the vacuum bag clause.
This boy's coming in like fucking Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights.
Yeah. You fucking sandbagged the boy on Skype. You owe him money.
He's running a legitimate service.
We call this Operation Desert Storm, hey. The defense rests. We want $100,000 compensation.
Operation Dumbo Cock.
dude, but
Operation Jumbo Cock.
They should provide this for people for lonely hearts, man. Sort of a Valentine's service. You get people on the dole have to do a call a week, you know, like titillating old people.
Dude, imagine flying over to a Tanzanian call center and like trying to recruit, and like you're like the point of difference is it's not illegal because you're actually gonna fuck the woman. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you've just got to realize you have to.
This is where you've been going wrong, boys. Bag. You're half-assing it. You need to be going all the way.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, mate, just grab it like a coconut and kiss that fucking hairy face. It's like, you know, you're training them on the beach and they're kissing coconuts to get used to fucking handling those hairy rock tits. These guys are licking coconuts on the beach in preparation.
Those 65-year-old hairy pendulums.
Ah, dude, he's got 2 coconuts tied to a plank, and you've got to fuck that to get used to it with a bit of seaweed to simulate the face and head. And they're just boning them. But, dude, you're right. if they actually followed through. And I think like it's like Logan Paul. It's not a scam if he eventually is down at Scarborough Beach and he's pinching your bottom as you run down to the coast, you know, for a swim.
When you think about it, how fucking smooth do you have to be? The odds are so stacked against you as like some Tanzanian guy operating out of a boiler room for romance scammers, and you're still able to get some woman on the hook for like 40 grand.
One of the greatest salesmen ever.
You have to be a smooth talking motherfucker.
You imagine this guy's actually probably climbing one of the baobab trees to get reception, and then he's fucking hanging. He's hanging on. He's got a fucking sketchy line, and he hooks on a university-educated retiree onto a 40 grand scam. I'm like, case closed. This guy should be head of sales for Vodafone. Do you know what I mean? This guy is a fucking king.
I was watching Hitch, and then I got a dating coach myself. It's actually a Tanzanian romance scammer.
Oh, dude.
Imagine you're reading The Game. Like, fuck The Game. Like, you know those pickup artist books? Like, fuck that, dude. Yeah. You need a book written by a Tanzanian romance scammer.
Oh, dude. Yes, Skyping Wanda. Yes. Skyping Wanda, and it's his story of the conquest of 30 Western women from a fucking poor reception, basically a 10 on a string landline, and he's talked 40 girls into giving them their life savings. That is the ultimate game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
do you know how fucking charming that guy is? And then a lot of people, these rich white people, go for mindfulness and well-being coaches and life coaches. What you really want to do is go and talk to one of these fucking Tanzanian scam artists and learn about the human condition, about charming, about empathy, about fucking mirroring people, about modeling your sales, and how much, imagine if you took a leaf out of their book, how much better our life would go. If I applied the Nigerian Prince charm to my day-to-day life, how fucking well I'd be going.
That's it, man. The greatest motivator is hunger and fear.
You would drive to the shops and you'd come back in a better vehicle. You've immediately upgraded.
Yeah.
They've just left in the Captiva and you're in the Mercedes-Benz. Granted, you've sucked them off behind a bin and Coles, but you own a Mercedes now. Do you know what I mean?
You're having problems in your marriage? Well, we're doing a trading places with this Tanzanian boy.
Oh, dude, a wife swap.
And we'll see how grateful you are when you come back.
A wife swap. You actually have to watch them finesse them on Skype, and you've got to watch him going like, how big is that pussy? Do you know what I mean? And like doing some dirty talk, and you can see her sort of rubbing her hairy coconut nipples, and you realize, it's re-engaged her whole sex life. I didn't know she was into this. She's into fucking some rough shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, have the guy, like they do in the hotels, sit on the chair and watch your wife, your postmenopausal wife, get finessed by one of these Tanzanians.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, with some smooth chat.
Absolutely. Some guy who's so grateful to be there. So grateful to be there that he is fucking Lothario. He's a Casanova.
And you hear the first laugh for 30 years. Do you know? A lot of the giggling is just straight racism because they're saying things weirdly.
No way is it racism, dude. It's because he is so attentive. He just wants to be out of the fucking cycle of poverty that he's
my God.
Walking from the mine to the well.
Dude, and it's what I say.
I really don't just. I feel like we should mention. I have no idea what the fucking situation is in Tanzania is genuinely like.
I think they're doing well.
I know that when your primary export is gemstones, that you're not doing well. You're not doing well in a fucking GDP scale.
Dude, hot tip, you can be pretty safe in Africa because I think most of their energy comes from burning wood. Like they're not even...
Yeah, burning wood and burning tires around people's necks.
They ship all their fossil fuel. Most people are keeping warm with wood fires. Do you know what I mean? So it's a safe bet. There's a different, it's a safe dartboard to be racist with.
This is what I said. This is the same thing as what I said about you picking up guys for other girls at clubs. Like, why are you injecting yourself into the situation where you can be blamed by both parties?
Oh, dude, it's the weirdest thing because I I do that a lot as well. Every spot I had on this festival run, doing 6 or 7 a night, every spot, if there was another comic there, I tried to convince them to take my spot. Even though I had the effort, I'm like, you do it, man. You do it. I don't want to you please jump up, get Christian on, get Jenny on. And I'm always like, and then they go, but yeah, you won't have time. And I'm like, well, how about I just don't do any? There was one gig where they were running long, and I was like, hey guys, like running long. If you guys pay me, I'm happy not to do this. This would be better. You just give me the money. But you know what I mean? Like I do not know why in a competitive landscape that I'd be so rolling over so easily. Rolling over like a little dog.
Yeah. Yeah. But like also, I mean, some of these things aren't, I guess I wasn't really referring to the competitiveness. It's just, there's no benefit to you. It's just, but it's added responsibility.
Yeah. But I just like, I don't know, man. I just randomly like that. It's fun.
It doesn't give you a good feeling. It gives you a good feeling. You like playing Cupid or making things come together.
Yeah. I like the thought of just like randomly getting people stuff. Everyone likes that. Do you know what I mean?
It's
just for no reason.
Do you find that is your love language gift giving? Is that a big one for you?
Nah, dude. That's what I was saying, because everyone's all asking, are you in a relationship? I'm like, nah, dude, I'm more just prostitutes and Pornhub these days. And they get so shocked. I go like, man, yeah, you just do Pornhub. It's efficient. Obviously, the algorithm's always pushing me towards the trans stuff, but I fight it. I fight back. But, dude, you know what was crazy? The trans girls, I met 2 trans girls in this Connections Club. They love my stand-up. I was so excited. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously they haven't seen a lot of it, or they would absolutely hate me. But I was just so proud of it. That was another reason I brought them over, mainly also to annoy these homophobic guys and just stir them up. Because they're watching the Liverpool game with no shirt on. I brought them over. I bought them like champagne and go, come hang out. But just being validated, dude. It's like having the black friend. It's so cool.
I think it might just be that your comedy resonates with people who have experienced high levels of emotional distress.
Yeah, the trauma. But I was just so proud. It's you gathering. You know how everyone goes like, oh, I can say that because I've got a black friend. It's like, yes, come round. This opens a whole new world for me. Hey, if I can be at your wedding, that's fucking a blank check. So I can not edit or censor anymore.
I can finally watch those. I can finally watch those suggested videos. If I go to your wedding, it'll be okay.
Dude, the Pornhub is pushing that agenda the whole time. I'm like, literally.
Dude, that's not pushing it for everyone, man. I'm not getting recommended these videos. Are you seeing that a lot?
No, I'm not seeing it that much, but I'm often having. I've never seen it.
It's never happened. I've never seen it once.
No, but there was. I remember I said there was that one girl that was hot, and then I was like, oh nah, she's definitely like a man or was a man or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but she then I saw her on Billions, the TV show, and she was one of the strippers, or like they all banged her, and then I realized, oh, she's good to go, and then I had a big backlog of videos with her, but maybe that's what triggered it all.
What do you mean you had a big backlog of videos?
What's this? No, well, you know when you know as you go on Pornhub, like you scroll past people and you say, oh, not tonight, babe, no way. But eventually on a more desperate night, you eventually go, oh, fuck it. We'll do this fucking ginger one tonight. God damn it. It's heavy lifting tonight.
Wow. Fuck me. Great stuff. It's me, Wolfie, definitely not an AI model of his voice. Hear the rest of this Patreon exclusive episode and all the other weekly bonus eps. Patreon.com, sure thing.
If I was guaranteed I wouldn't get raped, I reckon I wouldn't mind going into jail. It seems like a bit of a boys' club, a bit of a hang.
Man, I don't know, dude. That algorithm suggests maybe you'd be okay with a little bit of the rape.
Oh, maybe, but I'm like, Don't you like the setup? You don't have to pay any of the bills.
I think you need to go to prison to free your mind, man. You need to go to prison to come to terms with your own confused sexuality.
I go in there, yeah, man. That would be, yeah. It's not really a rape though. If you're actually lying there in the prison showers, allowing everyone to piss and penetrate you, it's like whatever.
Man, I reckon you come out and you come out a queen, and you're like, I found myself inside. It's a whole thing, and they'll be like, Wolfie, you just went for a visit, man. You were gone for 40 minutes. And you're like, yeah, but I learned some things from those boys.
They'll be like, you weren't even a prisoner. You went to visit the visitors room and then just tried to push your butthole through the glass.
You dislocated one of your shoulders trying to push through the bars.
Oh, dude, you broke.
Let me in. Let me in.
Through. You dislocated your jaw to try and get it under to lick. To lick the man's butt. Oh, dude, but I do think like it's like Scouts. How's prison not just Scouts? Clubs are good. You hang out, you play some cards, you work on your mental health, you talk about what you might have done with no barrier because you can't achieve anything. So I would have been I could have been an AFL, but I did my knee. This shit, obviously, but the goddamn pigs they caught up with me. But for this, I'd be a multi-millionaire. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I do. Ruminate about what should have been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these prisoners, everyone in there is doing what I spend most of my life doing. So I'm like, I've got so much in common with them.
In a way, prison would really just give you the excuse that you need.
Yes. The prison is the ultimate cop-out. Everything's fixed because you're like, I fucked up. And then you can just lie on a bunk bed and who knows? You know what I mean? And just will away the days.
Yeah, you're like, look, I didn't know myself, but I went in. There's no woman around, so that helped me figure a lot of things out. And then, I couldn't make all that money because I was in prison. So it's perfect, really.
Yeah, dude. Imagine you can't log into trades. So you just lie around and just go, I wonder what's for lunch. Hopefully it's a hot meal.
Dude, and if you couldn't log in for trades, imagine how much your portfolio would have appreciated after a 10-year stint.
Oh, dude, and you know what? Eventually you just trade on the wall by drawing random numbers and doing multiples. 10 times 10 times X. That's 10 billion.
Yeah. Dude, this is what you do now. You're like, all I need, a 3X that one, get a 10 bag, and then we're golden. I'm millions. I'm done.
Well, that's what I'm doing, but I'm actually... The weight of reality is putting gravity into all my fantasies because I was only a 4X away or 2X from 2X would have been a mil with the CFD 2X, so it's close to a mil. And I know like 10 mil's enough to like stop getting chastised by the fucking working populace because they got to shut the fuck up. 100 mil.
The working populace is not the segment of the population that is chastising you.
Dude, I get attacked the whole time. Even that black shirt. 4 comments this week because it's 46 degrees. Why are you wearing the black shirt?
Yeah, this is another thing that you're like, I'm being chastised. People, they don't believe, they're haters. They're coming at me. But it's people who are, again, showing concern for you. Like, man, are you okay?
Why are you wearing that
it's
black
40
shirt?
degrees. Are you wearing a black shirt? You're sweating. You're so wet. You're so wet and slick right now. And you're like, leave me alone. Stop chastising me. They're worried, man. They're trying to give you sunscreen and a bottle of water.
And I'm like, why are you so far away from your dreams? When did you give up? Why have you become so unfamiliar with your dream? Do you know that's actually most people like have forgotten their dream? It's like Peter Pan. They all grew up. People forgot their dream. The dream was not to own a dollhouse, an adult dollhouse, and put shit in it. That's not what life was about.
What was your dream?
To cause mischief? Probably.
Your dream was to be a Bart Simpson character.
Yeah, I wanted some larrikin. I want like to have fun and stop fucking people being so serious. It's just so annoying. I was thinking about it, talking about it today, and it was because people always ask how I was in the corporate world, and I was saying how it's like was my first acting role, and it was like I do remember going out of my way to make the conversation as bland and boring as possible and finding like the same way, like bombing or killing. There's a real rush having someone trapped talking to you and then just making it as generic and fucking elongated and tiring and watching them in their eyes and you can see them desperate to leave and then just going. And anyway, this is why I think with the introduction of the new regulation, we've got to be cognizant about how we manage this going forward. We've got to be reticent in their approach, but you understand what I'm saying, Jeff.
That's my go-to with dull cunts as well. You try and you lean in, and when they're telling a dumb story or just being fucking boring, you really egg them on, or you try and make it even duller.
You make it boring.
Yeah, you fucking hone in on little details. You're like, oh, what kind of flour are you baking that cake with?
Oh, yeah, interesting. Interesting. What sort of oven you got? Milia. The Milia 447 or the Milia 448? Very interesting.
Do you install that yourself or you have a guy come in? Yeah.
Aluminium output. What's the electricity socket of that? 240? Are we doing 240 DC? What are you plugging that into? Is there gas cylinder? What's the housing on it? You've got an aluminium frame or are we using sort of a zinc titanium screw system?
It's very occasional, but when you can, the big win is when you get them to give up and abandon the story they were telling you in the first place.
Dude, you've reminded me because back at the accounting firm, I remember playing a game and I tell people, watch this. And I did it later in London as well, where I'm going to say absolutely nothing. I'm just going to use, like just terminology.
Yeah.
And I say, look, we started strong and we've been out there. Listen, Glenda, we've started with a cracking pace and we've encountered some things, and we've got some issues, and like an earlier obstacle that, we've pushed through and drilled in, and like they're just listening and we're like, we've drilled in. And look, that is actually buy that issue, and I won't go into that right now. But let me get back to the crux of what we've achieved out here, Brenda, you know what I mean? And then you're just like, just try say fucking garbage, and eventually they're nodding, and then they just fucking give up and go, dude, because no one wants to be there. It's like every job. Unless you're the profit center, no one actually wants to be there. It's like when you're at the shops and you're like, you're working at Coles. I'm like, why wouldn't everyone be stealing? None of us are making enough money. Do you know what I mean? Who's invested in this fucking sticker? This drawing of a wolf, a drawing of an oil canister, Rio Pimpo. Do you know what I mean? It means fuck all unless you are either getting a dividend. Obviously, it's nice to discharge your duties and not commit fraud, but do not emotionally invest. Do not actually buy into the flag supporting the Fremantle Dockers of Rio Tinto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea of that.
Never look at, read, or adhere to any corporate ethos or a...
and that's what I've realised. People don't realise that the synapses slowly wear away. Like if you do too much corporate spiel and you're around these HR people, they actually shut off big parts. And this is why I'm saying you lose your dreams. They actually slowly do mini... lobotomies on parts of your neuron processes.
Yeah, if you are more familiar with the ethics and the ethos of Flight Centre Corporate than you are with your own ethos, and you're more readily able to describe to someone the tenets of working at Coles or Woolworths, because you work at Coles or Woolworths, but you are not able to tell someone your own personal values, reconsider. Reconsider what you're doing, who you are.
You don't have your own plan. I see it in corporate events because they come to comedy a lot, and I'll always just go after the boss and go, this piece of shit. Why you invest with this fuckhead? He's getting on them. Look at him. He's a fucking loser. He's a bum, man. But they get emotionally sensitive to it. I'm like, oh, what? So you've bought into the branding and marketing, you fucking dumb dog. The only reason you made up his made-up business name is only relevant to him who gets all the profit. To you, it's a joke and something that should be constantly diminished and undermined behind his back to eventually try to seize control of it. Don't you think?
Yeah. You should be planning a hostile takeover from within.
That's what you think the whole time. You're like, yes, you own something special. Now let me diminish you in every way I can conceive so that someday I have it in my possession. Don't you think? I will make everything hard like you're pushing up against through gravity.
How long do you have to live the fantasy before it becomes a reality? If you're living the fantasy for 10 years, is it not as good as reality? And if you're living at your parents for 5 years, is that not inherently worse?
Well, because what I've realized is like the people that are really, the mid-range people are the ones, the plotters are the ones that are rewarded because they can just persist with the fantasy. No, what you were saying, Wade, which one's better, fantasy or...
How long do you have to live the fantasy?
Oh, yeah, this is what I was meaning. I was meaning like if I had just been more of a plotter, I could have just worked my way up through these corporate ranks, but I got fucking frustrated and sick of it. And it's the same way that I was saying, like the comedians that are happy to just churn out the same shit, which is what I do as well now, to be fair. But I'm saying it eventually breaks for them. Other people eventually get sick of it and create chaos and detonate their life like I did a few years ago. You're like, I'm just fucking going to kill myself if something doesn't happen. I'm losing my fucking mind. I cannot engage with this repetition and the loop. Mm-hmm. But so what you're saying is like, I wish in a way that I was just slinging the fantasies because I have seen that you can just pretty much get to the top, especially in a place like Perth if you just hang around long enough.
Well, and like, even if it's borrowed, even if it's all mortgaged, loaned, stolen, if you are living the fantasy for a long enough period of time, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Who cares?
Yeah. And then it's all like, what is the fantasy? The fantasy can be my fantasy. Like, how am I not already there? Because I believe it so implicitly that I already have all the wealth and fortune.
So you're saying in a way that a future fantasy, even if you don't have it yet, even if you're not living the fantasy lifestyle, if you believe that you will for long enough,
yes, that's what I believe.
So you know what, in a way you might be right, because I think the best thing, and we've talked about a similar area or topic before, it's all about anticipation, right? It's not about fucking.
Yes,
it's about thinking about fucking.
It's the pursuit.
In a way,
the pursuit of
you've figured out how to edge being financially successful.
100%. the fantasy is more fulfilling than the reality, because what actually happens, and it happens with a lot of couples, they renovate their house into a divorce because they have a fantasy dollhouse that they're going to create. And when they finally step out onto that infinity pool with a grape in hand, they realize, it was all about edging the fantasy. It was never about actually living in Dalkeith near these fucking dickheads. Do you know what I mean? And then they have their first day and go, isn't this the best? Isn't this the best? And I'm like, now you're living it, where it's much better to be seeing it in your mind and it's all perfect. When you're actually living it, you're like, for fuck's sake, the infinity pool pump's gone again, where the fucking water fountain won't work. And then you're like, in your fantasy idea, you didn't realize there were mechanics behind the water fountain. You just heard it in your head, just dripping in the water, and you felt relaxed. I'm saying, like, you can achieve greater dreams doing nothing in your own mind than you ever can achieve in this shithole.
Yeah.
This shithole is bound by physics and gravity. Everything is diminished in a way. Even the fucking glorious beach shack rusts and it corrodes within 15 years. You see it with the glorious mansions, the houses that are dilapidated within 20 years of the departure of the owner. You know when you see all that wrapper and they go in his Idaho house and you look at it and it's just like, looks like the Colosseum, like a fucking rubble of an old sort of Egyptian fucking pyramid. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is, so in many ways, me pulling out of the corporate world, going crazy, is a better life than the guy that actually is plotting. Because I'm free.
I feel like I've had a lot of dreams that I've achieved, and then it's the payoff has been minimal.
There's no payoff.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why even bother? Just have Seroquel and just have crazy dreams.
That's where I've gotten to, a place of complacency. And I wanted to say contentedness, but there's no content.
No, there's no content, dude. And that's what I realized with another thing I lost in the divorce was a plan. I realized in all my life I always had a plan. Something I didn't realize that was taken from me in the separation was no longer have a plan. I'm just drifting now. I don't know, dude. But I'm very fucking... Now I've got to fly to Adelaide.
Yeah, you've got Adelaide.
The last of my pennies.
How long are you in Adelaide for?
Well, I've stopped booking return flights because you can't trust anything. So I'll come
What are you
back.
talking about? You can't trust anything.
Well, you end up with an Uber problem. Your dick's on fire. You've got cancer. You know what I mean? It's smart to never, ever give it any notification of what I'm doing. So I'll just pretend that I'm going to a gig and then divert last minute to the airport. And before there's any chance to have bad luck, I'll see plane leaves in 10 minutes, paid, bang. Sucked in. I don't have to sit in the fucking airport for 9 hours because Jetstar's delayed. I'm like, I'd rather pay money. You're not going to get me again, fuckhead, and have me sitting at the airport where they're going, the flight has been delayed for 9 hours. And I've got to sit with my head on a bench. Now what I'm going to do is say, hey, just going down to donate some money to charity, and I'm actually going to get an Uber and go, hey, turn left, go to the airport right now, bang. Is that flight leaving?
So you're trying to trick the universe by last minute, like by out loud expressing intentions that are not true.
Yeah. They can't lose. You can't delay my flight when I'm actually last calls for flight. I'm like, try fuck me now, cunt.
It's not. This is a great insight. This is a great insight because your belief and what you think is reality is that the universe has some kind of sentience and it's trying to fuck you.
No.
And you're like, if I can trick the universe, they won't be able to delay my flight.
I've misworded it. It's all about risk mitigation, right? And I'm like, if I lower the probability statistically that they can fuck me, because I've spent many, many times, hours of my life waiting at the fucking airport because Jetstar's sent me a text on the way there that it's over. I'm not saying that it's targeting me, but I'm saying if I'm literally there and the woman says, we're about to close the desk, and I'm saying, swipe this fucking card and let me on, the chances of me getting trapped at fucking Brisbane Airport lying on a bench for 9 hours are zero. So I'm like, I would rather literally pounce on them and saying, can you confirm that guy is not going to have a heart attack as their pilot?
Wait, hold on. I remember this Brisbane Airport thing because it's the last time you were here, and that's not quite what happened. We went and did a show up near Paddington, and then you went out drinking. You were supposed to go stay at Ree's house, but instead you partied until everyone else had gone. So you had to go to the airport hours early because you had been drinking past the point that you had any fucking couch to lie on.
And guess what I did? No, I could have still gone there, but I just lay on the ground. And then guess what? No one can beat me because I lay there.
No one can beat you, man, because you're beating yourself.
Well, guess what? I lay on the cement with my face directly on the cold cement for the whole night. And a homeless guy he'd put boxes under himself, and I lay directly on the cement. I'm like, catch me if you can. I'm invincible now. I literally had worse conditions than this homeless guy, and you know what? Fine. Didn't bother me. I will literally lie on cement for the rest of my life. So, like, you can't touch me.
But it did bother you because now you're like, I need to try and trick my way to Adelaide. I can't let the universe know my true intentions or they might delay my flight.
Oh, dude. Guess what, though? Is it not a good strategy? Like, no one, you know what you should do? Because Jetstar just plays you for foils with you, plays you the fool. So everyone plans and then they just jam it and go like, sorry, we fucked up. You can't go to Bali now. I'm like, well, guess what we're going to do? No one's going to buy beforehand. We'll just arrive randomly at the airport and go, 19,000 people here, all want to go to Bali. You can't manage your profit anymore. Guess what? You have no cash flow because you have no forward bookings, so we don't give a fuck. No one's trying to save money. We'll just go, I'll pay $1,000. I'm just going to always go to the airport and take their top flight. So when they're overbooked, they're like, no one's booked. Everyone just randomly swings in an Uber and goes, I'm flying now, I can't. And you know what I mean? Like, they rely on us being reliable and planning. If everyone stops doing that and you just basically jump in an Uber, drive there and make sure you can see the plane on the tarmac and go, okay, so you're not booking extra people? You're not lying? Let me look at this fucking pilot's teeth. Is he alive? He looks healthy. Let me have a fucking diabetes test. Okay, this cunt, let me kick him 6 times. Okay, he can fly. Here's my fucking $500. Sorry I paid an extra $200, but guess what? You didn't cunt me over and make me sit with my face on a fucking table for 9 hours like you've done to every human being on this planet. The number of hours people have sat in that shitty fucking terminal with their head on the table because they've been fucked by the corporations. Better off to all become unreliable. Never book. Always buy at the gate.
Did you know the terminal guy, the one who lived in the terminal for fucking 20 years or whatever it was?
Yeah.
You know he went back in like 2019 or something. He went back to the terminal and started living there again, and then he died there like 8 months later.
Do you know why? Because it became his brand.
Yeah.
Once you become like known for that, and then it's like that ice bath guy. Do you know, I was loving it. I saw a video on ice bath guy. You know Wim Hof?
Yeah.
Have you seen that he's got massive scarring all around his abdomen?
No.
And it's because there's a second step to the ice baths. What he used to do when he was in those cold ponds, he would go into water fountains, public fountains, and put the fucking jet up his anus and do like those, what are those, colonic irrigations?
Like an enema.
And he used to do enema, and he'd have ice water penetrating the insides as well, like being pumped by. And he fucking overestimated one. It went on one that had too powerful a jet, and it exploded his entire intestines. So while this guy was trying to freeze his balls off and kill himself, he also had a fucking water fountain up his anus, exploded his whole stomach. But what happened conveniently when they were marketing it? They said, hey, just do the cold water bit. The bit where he gets fucked by a fountain. The bit where he gets fucked by a fountain, we've decided that's not good. But he is now the voice of a whole movement that's changing the world. You used to get anally penetrated by the cold fountain. Now you just get hugged by the fountain, and they're like, it changes your whole life. Joe Rogan saying, I feel again. I'm so rich that I'm not really connected to the world. But being in an ice bath without the fountain at my ass, I feel alive. Because everyone's blowing smoke at my ass, and I have no real connections anymore. Because everyone's a fame whore and wants money from me. But when I'm in that fountain, I know it's true. I could die. And that's when I feel alive. But yeah, anyway, so this was Wim Hof, dude. Wim Hof has been trying to rape fountains. Anal rape of fountains was the first plan. So when he first went in the water, he was probably numbing his ass so he could get bigger and bigger fountain heads up his anus. The whole reason he got into cold water was that it was numb so he could get bigger things up his butt. So anyway, maybe think about that next time you fucking, when you're in your ice bath, put your ass up and put it over the fucking faucet. Shove that up your pipe. Turn that on and get the full Wim Hof experience. You'll see why he does that breathing thing. It's because he had a fucking duck fountain pumping his ass.
Have
you seen it? It's true. It's true, right?
I haven't seen it, but I believe you.
Do you not find that crazy?
I think the whole Wim Hof thing is... It's so stupid, dude. It's so dumb.
Oh, yeah. Guess what they say? They go like, hey, if you trick yourself into dying, you feel real good for 10 minutes after. I'm like, yeah. Your body probably only has 5, maybe 50 fight or flight responses in it. It's not really made to continually think it's dying. Obviously, these are shock hormones to save it. It's like the power booster. You've only got 10 of them where it's like, holy fuck, we're going to die. Wolves have got us. Fucking put everything out. We got to just risk it all. DMT, put any drug out. Let's survive. But if you're just Joe Rogan randomly doing that every Thursday, good luck. Let's see how your organs fucking really handle shock proteins extended.
It's not some great mystery that this guy, he makes himself real cold for a minute and jacks his adrenaline up and is like, wow, I feel full of energy. It's like, yeah, of course you feel full of energy, man. I'm not surprised. But
And also,
is this life, man? The ice bath thing, it's like, man, your whole day is you like go into the cold. That's your day. Like, oh, it's all centered around going into the cold. Like, you don't have room for anything else in your fucking day. Like, this is not a good life.
Yeah. And what you do is your body, it's the relief of like a dog that's been at home when its owner comes. It thought its owner was dead, and then it realized it's not, and you celebrate. So what he's doing is just constantly tricking your soul to think that it's the end of days. And I'm like, I don't think that is very good. That's the equivalent to when a monkey finds its penis and just starts jacking off forever until eventually the dick drops off. I'm like, it's not really productive management of your emotions and dopamine and all the moods. Is to just go like, what if you could always orgasm? You just keep pulling the head. You just keep pulling it. And just comes out and you just have no real feelings. And you just keep pressing that red button. It's basically like a hamster, a mouse experiment where they can keep hitting a button to get cocaine.
Yeah.
And these fucking dumb cunts just keep having it until suddenly they go, oh, Joe Rogan died. His heart exploded. It turned out simulating death too many times eventually took its toll. And his body thought, you know what? We're not made for this world because this dumb cunt is dying every 3 hours. Let's end it. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, it's so good that we have these fucking trends. I love it.
Why is he still talking? Like, how's he written books? He's written multiple books, man. Like, about what? Like, isn't the thing you just jump in the water and you breathe a bit funny for a while? Like, what are you writing about now? What more do you have to teach us, cold person?
And what a PR campaign. Like, the reality is, he was getting penetrated by fountains, and his wife killed himself. His wife killed himself because she found him insufferable and decided to jump off a building rather than listen to this fuckhead drone on about how he's going to put fountains up his anus. And I'm like, why are we taking lead from a weird man that used to go to ponds at night and lie in the dark?
That's another good point. Is when would you? Yeah, it's a real flip of the coin whether you're going to listen to someone who's experienced a lot of trauma or not. Like this Wim Hof guy is like, oh man, I go in the ice every day. It's great. It's cold and it's fixed my life. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I'll do that. It's like, but what if some guy came back from Afghanistan with PTSD and was like, I've covered myself in black paint and I go to the park at night. And I'm afraid that everyone's watching me. And you're like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Like, that's also a trauma response. This guy's having a trauma response because his schizophrenic wife killed herself.
Well, dude,
and the other guy is having a trauma response because his friend died in his arms. Well, like, don't pick and choose. Both reactions are just as valid.
Oh, dude, they're the extreme reactions to take you out of the moment. You could actually say, you know what else helps with trauma? You randomly just go to bush forests and light them on fire. And then you look back and you see all the smoke there. And you did that. And you get some power back. And you're like, holy fuck, the helicopter's up there. And I'm just sparking little fires around. And I'm like, I've got some control back in the universe. I burnt down a school, for fuck's sake. How can I be irrelevant? No. It's extreme behavior for extreme fucking trauma. It's not actually normal. It's much better to just get a Rio Tinto tattoo and just get a You have been dodging me for a week, mate.
You've been in Adelaide. What are you talking about? You've been at Fringe, man.
We can't conceal from the audience. Josh is a computer-addicted drug addict that we're trying to make the most. We're trying to make a pod with a junkie. No, anyway, man. Oh, dude, I'll tell you, the share loss is really starting to eat away at me. It's like a mesoblast crash.
Where is it at the moment?
Well, it was just so significant being leveraged
a profound impact on my mental health. Like, I really need it back up around 30 cents.
I had some conversations with people about that, man. Like they were, just talking about the huge loss followed by a lot of acting out and fighting that wheelchair guy.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
How have you been taking it? Have you gotten into any other altercations? I guess would be the big thing.
Oh well, Adelaide was a nightmare because I was going to do lots of gigs, but I really ended up with not many. I had a few Carl Chandler gigs for $80, and then I missed my flight. I got drunk, and I thought I was so clever. And I booked like another flight to give everyone the surprise. They're like, "Isn't your flight on at 9?" And I'm like, "Whatever." But I'd booked it drunk, having day drank, and I booked it in the wrong month. I was like, "This is so cheap." It's like 130. It's like $200. And I was like, "This is so cheap." I didn't realize it was in May. So then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, "What the fuck? Why is my flight in May? Like, I need to go today." And then I was ringing up, and it was like, you know, the algorithm, when they realize you're desperate, it started off at 200. They wouldn't let the credit card. By the end, I paid $600 to return from Adelaide.
Man.
That's for one. I booked 3 flights.
Do you feel like you...
I booked 3 flights back.
Do you feel like you fooled Jetstar by doing that? Did you achieve what you set out to?
Oh, well, you know what? I have learned. And just a heads up, it's not like gambling. You do need to book ahead for a flight. You can't beat the system by leaving it last minute. They see you like Joseph looking for an inn to have Jesus your baby, and they fucking charge you big. When they see a pregnant woman in Bethlehem at night, they're like, "Yeah, dude, the 1-star resort is $5 million tonight. While if your baby could die in the cold, so give me your house." Give me everything you own, and I'll let it come inside, and you can have baby Jesus. Dude, you know what? That's what I was saying to girls in Adelaide. This new idea of like elevation. Where
I always get so nervous when you preface it with, "I was talking to girls at like Perth Fringe or Adelaide." I'm like, "What's coming next? What's coming next?"
Oh, dude, the anger. Where I was like, it's just emotional baggage. You can just use Pornhub. You don't need. I said, free yourself from your base desires, girls. And then I did a bad example. I go like the Dalai Lama, and then a comedian goes, "What? Kissing children?" And I was like, shut up, you fucking asshole. I said like Gandhi, like someone else. And then
Gandhi also did a thing with kids in the bed as well, man. That's both of them.
Well, then I said, listen. You're missing the point. Okay, all those guys were sex pests, but I'm like, I would like to get to a point where I elevate it beyond my base desire. I said, "Do you know how profound?" And then they're going like, "You really are a fucking weird guy." This is what I said, like, dude, I just want to elevate consciousness beyond just jerking off, sucking and fucking and eating hamburgers and just being a base cellular person. I said, I just want to, and then you know what? It was actually weird because like some of the people I was staying with saw weird movements around me. You know, where I'd sit out the front and stare at a brick for maybe an hour in the sun, just staring at the ground, and they're like, "Wow, you really do commit to a lot of this weird introspection that you talk about." You know what I mean? Like, or they'll find me in the backyard lying on the lawn, just staring at the sky.
I feel like at some point in the last few months we did talk about the mania coming back, and I think it was a pretty good call, man. Like I really think I've started to nail down the cycle. You know, I can spot the signs. It's good.
Well, the thing is, I think it was starting to come in when the stocks went bad, but then once they go chaotic, I go into full manic because I'm in fight or flight state.
But chicken or the egg, man? Chicken or the egg? Are the stocks going bad because of the mania, or is the mania happening because the stocks go bad?
Oh, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. In retrospect, take the 200, get a little house deposit, get a boring job, and become daddy. Generic daddy. I could have done it. But anyway, man, you know what's funny is seeing Amos is very similar. Like, it's 7 a.m. He's on his phone, shoeless, walking the streets with his neighbors peering out from curtains. And I'm doing the same thing. And we cross paths, and we're just screaming down the phone at random people. And I'm like, oh my God, you walk shoeless on the street yelling into your phone? I thought I was the only one. I never see anyone in Perth doing it. Kept bumping into Amos doing the exact same thing. Manically screaming into a phone.
Are you going to MICF this year?
Oh yeah, I might go.
Mm.
I might go, but I need Strike to get back to 30 cents so I can pull some money to get the flight.
Do you have a show, or is this just going to be
Nah, man, I can't. I'm just going to do spots.
Okay.
I haven't written anything, dude. But you know what else happened when I got back? Here's the moment. The Captiva. I had birthday after birthday this weekend. Hit the lights. Guess what happened? Captiva just went flat.
No.
The car stopped.
No.
And I'm so on a highway, and my kids are in there. And I had to push it up a hill. While I'm doing it, people are tooting because they're angry because everyone's selfish. I'm pushing a car without any assistance, and I eventually push in front of a scooter. I push it up the curve, over the ramp. Both kids sitting in there, just on my shoulder, like a fucking ox. Got it in. Car's fucked. Alternator needs to be replaced. I had to get it towed. I've lost money on the flight. Alternator's gone. I've got fucking bills coming out of the wazoo. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I need someone to hire me to, maybe I would get an Uber job, but the car's fucked, so I've got no options. I could do Uber Eats, but I'm like, my vehicle, I need to deliver a few by foot so I can get money to get the car back functioning.
At this point, man, I reckon you should be signing up for Uber Eats just to steal a couple of meals.
Dude.
I think we're really starting to get desperate. It shouldn't be about making money. It's just about a couple of scams.
Picks of the week.
I actually had such a great moment because I did that when I had lost a bit of the stock money. I ordered like fucking God knows Mongolian, Lithuanian, who knows what fucking meal it was, but it came in and I said, "Oh, you forgot the rice," but I clicked the wrong thing. And I just got refunded the whole meal. And I was like, oh, awesome, dude. Like, it was a $35 meal, but I was deluded. I didn't click rice. I clicked the main thing and said that didn't come. And I was like, fucking hell. Immediately refunded. I'm like, whoa, there's some movement here.
So it's not all been losses. You've had a couple of wins. It's not all bad news.
Well, I've had a $35 win. And do you know what the thing is? I'm in the process of doing some other stuff, but I can't really mention it on the podcast.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, there's certain areas where I've realised I shouldn't divulge it. Save it for the mug off.
What?
Dude, do you think the mug off boys will be sad? I'm sad they quit, and I feel like we could replace them if we promise to be frequent enough. We can get guests on.
What? We don't want guests on, man. There's already not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room.
Well, so
where are we going to put a guest in? What are they going to be saying?
Okay, so we have we call it slag off, the slag off, and you bring who do you hate? Who do you hate? You come in, you pick someone and go like, oh, just the way he talks, he's so fucking uppity, up his ass. And I'm like, anyway. There you go. We've just, and you got to just beep out the name. And you're like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine you come and air your dirty laundry and we're like, you've got to bring in who in the industry you would be surprised, but you've just not taken a liking to. And the slag off. The slag off.
Who's buying into this premise? They're like, yeah, I'd love to.
Oh, you wouldn't like
to come on your podcast. I'd love to come on your podcast and really get vitriolic about some other people I work with.
You wouldn't like it when they're in there and you go, fuck, that was surprising. Do you know, like, Peter Hellier's quite a nice guy and he's had quite a few attacks.
I'm just saying that I don't think a lot of people are going to share this level of self-destructive attitude that you possess.
Oh, yeah. And look, and you know the other thing is, people bemoan, the mug-off died, but I'm like, they weren't financially compensated. They said, oh, you loved it. Well, the numbers didn't say that. They had enough money to get a handful of fucking meat pellets and survive. Like, it's not like US numbers. They're like, oh, we're going to miss it so much. What, fucking 13 people throwing them little meat strips. Do you know, like Duggan was still fucking basically on the bus. Do you know what I mean? It's very demoralising to do a show for 5 years and you're still in a share house under a cupboard. Do you know what I mean? Like there's only so long that you can keep begging before you give up.
Yeah, it's like a Van Gogh thing. It's like he was so brilliant. It's like, yeah, well, why don't you help him out while he was around instead of doing nothing, and he spirals into a horrible depression.
What a move the person feeding Van Gogh that kept telling him, look, the work's not good enough, and just gave him cans of Spam and just loaded up a fucking warehouse of all his work as he's slicing his ear. Did he slice his ear?
Yeah,
he's slicing his ear off. You know why? Because he doesn't want to hear any more of the negative feedback that I'm giving him. Because I give him cans of Spam and build a legacy when I'm like, I will take that fucking awful drawing, you fucking homeless prick. Fuck off. Here's a can of tuna. Now fuck off, Van Gogh. Someone did that to him.
You think that was it? Like he would do a painting and then they'd be like too swirly, and then the next one they'd be like not swirly enough, and that's what drove him mental.
Yeah.
Just trying to improve his output. Dude, that's what the stock market is doing to you, dude. That's what the universe is doing to you. Every time you try and get ahead, it's like, no, you need to be pushed back in the dirt where you're creative.
Oh, yeah.
Have a little wriggle around.
Because you know what? To become a great tyrant, you have to remove all that empathy. And like, say this latest crash is the difference between me maybe at a peak moment where I'm drowning a rival's child, potentially giving him oxygen, whereas now I will watch the corpse go purple. And I'm like, oh, well, it was good at the end of the day. It pushed me into that next realm to really create... No, I'm only fucking joking. We're not going to do any of this. We're going to get a haircut and get back into the corporate world. Rio Tinto, I'm talking to you. BHP, I'm talking to you. I'm ready to do repetitive work. I'll do a loop. You know what I was saying to people? Going to go on the FIFO. I'll go to my Zimbabwean doctor and get drugged and go, give me SSRIs, Valium, you give me every fucking thing. Bipolar, Bipoxa, and I'm just going to have a big gobstopper of medication and just drive a truck in the desert forever.
A lot of these things, I feel like maybe the prescriptions that you've not filled yet, like you've got them already. Surely there's some healthcare professional who's like, man, can you just have a little bit of this? Like, just have a little bit of something.
Oh, dude, imagine how funny it is arriving at a doctor and you say, look, I'll break it down for you. I need you to drug me back into full-time work. So I'm like, whatever you need. I said, obviously, we know what you have to do, right? And how jarring that is for a soul. So I said, I just need your suggestions of what would be suitable medication to allow me to capitulate on that level. So I said, I don't know, with your experts, how would I no longer fail and be able to just amass time on the clock for my children, but have no memory of it is the goal. I said, I don't want to experience any more of the world. I said, I just want to pay my obligations, which is I brought 2 kids in and give them shoes and private schooling, and hopefully with a bit of luck, they too can be drugged for the latter part of their year and facilitate the same thing for their kids. But I said, I do not want to know my life from now until death. I just want a bank balance accumulating.
Like a severance situation.
Yeah.
Your brain's bisected. You go into work and you're a different person almost.
It's like that life assurance move, or basically what I need to do is, you know, this guy running for office that's killed his son, is ring him tonight and say, I killed your son. If you back me, you back my kids, they get in a private school and you fund me, I'll say that I was there. Do you know what I mean? I set that up as a career move.
Yeah.
I'll ring up a serial killer and say, look, give me the gloves, give me the weapons, I'm going in.
Yeah, you'd be a rap man.
I'll do it for you.
Be a rap man. You take the rap for anyone.
Leveraging your home, margin personal loans, hedged by put contracts.